Tony, how would you compare the way you guys played defense in the last game with the previous game?
Better. Obviously, it's a process with any team, and we just want to get as close as possible. You're not going to play a perfect game offensively or defensively, but we want to get as close as possible to playing a complete game on both ends of the floor. The game before Southern Illinois was probably 10 to 15 minutes of a complete game defensively. Last game, when you looked and graded the tape, it was probably closer to 25 minutes. So it's a work in progress, but it's getting a lot better.
How much did your team just need that kind of a win in a dominating fashion after the first week of the season?
Well, it's not so much the fashion that we won, it's about how we played and how we competed on both ends of the floor, especially the defensive end of the floor and the backboard. I mean, those are two areas of the floor that we take a lot of pride in, and it's got to be our signature and our calling card, and we're getting closer to that.
I've heard VMI style compared to the Princeton offense. What do you think of that kind of?
It's similar. It's not a complete, referring back to the old Pete Carell offense, all the back doors and the continuity offense. They got versions of it in their offense, so there's some concepts and some principles, but not all the way. But it's a game that we're going to have to be disciplined defensively because of all the motion, all the movement, all the back cutting, the ability to shoot the three and space the floor, even from their center. So it's going to be a challenging game from that standpoint.
After the game, Cal said he needed to get EJ out on the floor more. What have you guys seen from him? What areas are starting to show improvement?
He's just an instinctive basketball player. He makes things happen that I don't even think he knows that he's doing. I mean, he made a couple plays in the last game where he was help side defensively, and we've only had a few guys, and I'm not going to name names because I don't want to put him in any category, put any added pressure on him, but he was off the other side of the lane line and help. A pass was thrown by him, and he was able to recover to the other side of the lane within one step and go block a shot twice. I mean, it's very few guys that we have had that instinct and that ability to react and then actually physically go do that. So, the more minutes he gets at this level, the more comfortable he's going to be, the more he understands how hard he's got to play and be able to sustain that kind of effort. So he'll make us better. He definitely will.
The way that PJ and Reed were kind of stretching the floor with their shots, is that kind of what you guys want to see from them every game, or is that just that particular game?
We want them to pick their spots. I mean, we need those two with EJ and with Nick to dominate the paint. That's first and foremost from the coaching staff what we need out of all of our big guys. But those two guys just happen to be able to step out and stretch the floor, which makes them a hard matchup. And then when you got both of them out there and one of them is in the paint, the other one can stretch the floor, it makes it hard for any team to help or double team.
What makes it tough for a defender to maintain the energy and focus on defense deep into the shot clock?
Fatigue. There's an old saying, fatigue makes cowards of us all. When you get tired, it's just human nature to want to stop and stand up and look. And when you're playing at this level of basketball, you do that. Offenses are too sophisticated, coaches are too good. And when you study tape, you're going to pick on people on the other team who you see are the guys that stand up and stop and break down. And so being able to sustain through fatigue, we talked to our team before the last game, this in hockey. We can't sub you on the fly. So until there's a stop in the play, there's a timeout, there's a dead ball, and we can get you out of the game, you've got to be mentally tough enough to fight through that fatigue and still sustain that effort, that concentration, the communication that it takes to be a complete defensive player and a complete defensive team.
How good of a job is Emmanuel doing right now?
Really, yeah, really good. He's steady. I mean, right now, we always talk to Emmanuel about he's being a little bit too careful. We'd like to see him push the envelope because he's capable even more. But it's good to have a steady hand at that position right now that he's going to take care of the ball, get us into our actions. He has the ability to make open shots, and he has what he's shown the last two games. He has the ability to break a defense down and get to that second level of a defense and make little floaters, little pull-up jump shots, and that's ultra valuable.
So did Tyler's shots go in, or was he doing things differently to make his shot?
Well, we've been working with him a lot since the first game of the year, is creating your shots before you get the ball. And that's just a habit for all high school players, really talented high school players. You're so good at that level and so much better than the competition that you wait to get the ball and then you can go make any shot happen you want to happen just because you're that much better, that much more talented. But at this level, players are too good, defenses are too good, coaches are too good, and they're going to make you play away from your strengths and play to your weaknesses. And so we've worked with Tyler on really, Tyler, let's work on getting your shot off before that ball hits your hands. And when he does that, like we work with Kevin Knox and guys in that position in the past, then you'll start to see other things open up because you were shot ready before you actually got the ball.
What's the next step Ashton needs to take to kind of get going?
You know, he's a guy that's still learning, and so he's thinking about what's next instead of just reacting to what's next. And that's just a natural progression of any young player. Sometimes it comes quicker than others. Right now, Ashton's picking things up, not quite at the pace of some other guys, but he's still, you know, we don't want him out there thinking defensively because he's so disruptive. And then you saw that in the last game. He put pressure on the ball, and if you can disrupt the timing of any offense starting at the point, then your defense can be really good, and that's what Ashton brings to the floor. And now we just need him to pick some of the other things up.
Did you guys trap more in that last game? And it seemed that way.
You know, we just talk about when there's opportunities to go, whether it's a ball screen, whether it's in the post, whether a team has an ISO basketball player like they did last game. Searles, the lefty, is really good in ISOs, and anytime he got downhill on a guy, we wanted to really come crowd him, whether you call it a trap or we just crowded him. We wanted to shrink the floor on him and make it hard for him to have lanes going to the basket.
After the game, Calipari talked about wall sits and diving on the floor drills. Is that something you guys normally do in the preseason, or is it something you use as a tool during the season? Was there any difference in how you utilize that this season? We do it both preseason, during the season. If things aren't going how effort-wise we need them to go, we'll break them back out. And after the first game, we needed to bring those back out. Some things that we were using earlier in the preseason and in the summer to get some guys' attention on it. It's about the defense, the effort, the hustle, the toughness, and then the offensive stuff will take care of itself as we work on that. But first and foremost, we've got to be a gritty, defensive-minded team, and that's when we use those drills.
How much does VMI, what kind of challenge did they present to the defense?
Tough challenge because of that style of offense that they play. You know, it's the pseudo-Princeton style offense with all the back cuts and the curl cuts and the dribble handoffs and the constant motion. And then anytime you play that style of basketball with a five-man who can stretch the floor like they have, it makes it hard because now your bigs are going to be getting pulled away from the paint. So it's a challenge, but it's not just their offense, it's their defense too. And that the matchup zone that they play is also something you don't see every day. It's not something you work against in practice. So in a short turnaround, you know, we're going to have to figure out how we're going to attack it and be good at it so they're not out there thinking and just reacting.
I think you guys have 3 games in 6 days coming up, and Thanksgiving in between there. How do you guys approach that from the staff as far as practice time and that sort of thing?
No different than we would any other time of the year. I mean, it's getting ready for one game at a time and then study it, grade it, learn from it and get better from it and then move on to the next one.
What's your plan for Thanksgiving?
Staying here. Everybody's staying here, and we'll have Thanksgiving as a team, and players' families and everybody will be coming in, and we'll be doing Thanksgiving at Coach's house.
Any update on Jamal? Do you expect him to practice this week or play?
He's in and out of practice right now, so, you know, it's hit or miss with Jamal.
How do you expect Nick to respond to having kind of a subpar performance in the previous game?
He'll respond because he always has. You know, we watched the tape. You know, he might have got a little full of himself after the 19 rebounds. So we got humbled last game and learned we got to use it as a teaching point. It's got to be a learning opportunity for him. You know, we expect more consistency out of Nick because he's a sophomore. He's been through it. When you're a freshman, you might have some up and downs, typical roller coaster season like typical freshmen do. But now that Nick's a sophomore, we expect more consistency. 19 rebounds, I don't know if that's going to happen every game, but he's got to come up with more than he did last game.
Calipari mentions that he always forgets how hard it is at the start of seasons. Is there anybody on the staff that attempts to remind him at the beginning of every year?
And when you said I don't know what he's referring to, what's hard about it?
The start of seasons, how trying to get a team to kind of gel together, and there's maybe some bumps early on. And he says he only remembers the end of the season when you guys are at your peak.
Yeah, I don't know. He's been doing it for a long time, so I doubt he forgets how hard it is at the beginning.
All right, anything else, guys?
Thanks, guys.
All right.